LeBron James at 39 years of age, surpassing Larry Bird as the oldest United States men's basketball player, giving some love to his former Laker teammate, Wenyen Gabriel. Steph Curry makes his Olympic debut coming up this week at age 36. Will be Embiid and Gabriel. Comes in with just about the most NBA experience among the current active players for South Sudan. And the tap won by the United States, and off we go in the fourth exhibition contest.
He's been very unsettled. Ball moving, going side to side. There's an Embiid here with a lift and a backhand. How pretty is that?
For LeBron James in the jam.
How about that? They've done that nicely. The spacing. Great cut. That guy knows the game.
And sharing as Jones misfires and Curry has it. Outlet feed. Devin Booker with the adjustment for LeBron. The versatility of this United States lineup. Anybody can start a break. Anybody can end it. LeBron misfires. Embiid keeps it alive.
Nice find.
It is Holiday gliding in with the left hand.
How about the give to
Jones, who's been a 20-point-per-game guy at the international level. Omot pulls up over the smaller Holiday and gets South Sudan on the board. Quick trigger from Cole, and the long rebound to Holiday. A quick outlet feed for LeBron.
Too easy. Tough shots. Opens up the floor. I feel they're on top of their game. Two in a row here. Solid. Unselfish.
Movement up the floor off of misses thus far. Just 1 for 6 South Sudan. Booker floats it. Embiid taps it in.
How about that? Drive. A little leakage. A little help. Joel bodies up.
Gabriel knocks down the three.
Pretty impressive. Of course, Davis is a guy lets them play in a different. They can play smaller, and obviously the impact defensively. A nice little bump.
As young children, as infants, sometimes as babies. Many of these players immigrated to Australia. There's a three.
Sad stories and what these guys have been able to do with their lives. Luau Deng, for example, sacrificing, contributing, doesn't need much space, does he?
Exceptionally well, and he's got a three.
Again, lifting Joel.
Good positioning by Cole, and it's off to Omot. Here is Carlik Jones. You mentioned it, trying to get him into the paint. This is a triple off the side of the backboard for Deng. Good effort by Deng. Davis couldn't connect. Deng the other way.
They've done a great job balancing the floor of the USA. And as I say that, they don't shut it.
Of Anthony Edwards, he was hassling the current Charlotte Hornet Thor. Davis knocked it away momentarily. Good save by Malawach. Taken away by Davis. Outlet feed. Adebayo with the bam. Davis for another United States assist. They have 6 of them on their 8 baskets, so a good rate going. Tough take. A left-handed floater.
Tug. Get tight on him.
McCoy with the kick out, another three. This is the former. Davis has his first 2 points. It's going up by 12 at the three-point line. Anthony Edwards, the defense, and the lay-in.
He can rag a guy.
So you see his aggressiveness against McCoy.
Nice challenge.
Forcing Deng to drive, and Deng is able to bank it home.
I feel satisfied getting back in this game.
Very much so.
There's that jammed up D you mentioned.
Yeah, Edwards is looking for an alley. He'll step back for 3, and that will not count, I believe, just past the buzzer on the putback by Davis. So South Sudan has the lead through 1 quarter.
I think it was going in. Davis a little premature of a little step back, and the right call.
Average of about 23 to 26 in the first 2 contests.
They've kept Jones out of the lane. It's one of the few times he's gotten the touch.
Only 2 touches in the paint, and then he's able to kick it out.
He's getting available.
So Halliburton is on Jones. It's a switch with the bigger Adebayo. The pull-up shot. Carlik Jones. Top players in the NBA G League. In fact, the top scorer in the G League and an MVP a couple of years ago. Edwards, the step through. Sudan had taken its largest lead at 7. Now back down to 5.
Well, they're playing with some confidence. Good ball movement.
And a deep one from Umphreys. Right. They were practicing in Rwanda for a little while. This is a team that has not been given or handed anything. Carlik Jones got it to go. Sudan to Australia. It's why there's such a high percentage of South Sudanese that are raised and go to high school in Australia.
Scraping, and look at this.
Carlik Jones finding Shayok, who had to adjust. Cole, Jones, and Thor. A 14-4 start in the second quarter for South Sudan.
Yeah, Deng brings a lot of energy. Jones gets to the rim.
And one for Carlik Jones, who is feeling himself right now.
He loves to go right, but that time so effective going left.
Good so far.
He had double-doubles, 3 of them in the World Cup, too.
Huge scorer, huge assist guy. Embiid finally snaps the funk. The quickness on defense in this international game that's so predicated on spacing. That's why Davis and Adebayo are such keys off the bench. There is this young...
I think it's the overhelp.
Okay.
And jamming it up.
Okay.
So it's probably both.
Curry had the defense on Jones, who finds Deng. Holiday right back on Carlik Jones. Such a cog for this South Sudanese team.
Look at the open middle, so you got to stay at home on the show. Tough shot.
Wow, Shea puts it down while Booker was hassling him defensively.
Well, they are playing confidently.
That's an angry drive by James.
Closing out this half, I think, is important to them. USA trying to step it up a little bit.
Booker on defense, running with Holiday. And True puts it home.
Back on the floor. Instrumental, really, in getting the lead.
And trying to get into the paint. He does against Davis.
That's what they do. Kick out
And Shea.
And get a look. You cannot leave the three-point shooter.
Quickness and three-point shooting for South Sudan has been a major factor. Good ball movement and an angry Edwards. Four together tonight. James, Booker, and Curry with Edwards and Davis. And James trying to stick with Jones, and Carlik Jones is not afraid. And it was tough to cut down to this roster today. So the challenge and the depth, impressive for Deng and Ivy and company. A minute left in the second. It's Thor separating from Davis.
How about that?
6 points for the former Auburn Tiger. Edwards, James, LeBron, aggressive.
How about that? How did he stay in the air that long, able to finish on the reverse?
A chance at a three-point play and a foul against South Sudan on Detch.
Probably watch them press at the end of this, see if they can get another one after the free.
Well, here is Edwards. Takes the jumper. Will not go. The tap back by Adebayo into the hands of Davis, and he got it home. Here's Edwards working on Gabriel. Good defense by Wenyon. Tatum on Omat. Drive it one.
That upper body. Again, Davis just spread a little bit, gave that open alley for Tatum to get to the rim.
Before he ever played a college game, two-time All-American at the Division II level before going to Colorado. Good defense by Tatum.
Yeah, good hands.
Shea, though, has been hot. Oh, my goodness!
How about that? Looney with the finish.
The former Baylor Bear. A little growl at the rim.
And that's
41%. Sudan, 57%.
Nice step through.
Rejected, though, by Davis, who came over for the recovery on defense.
What a great read.
Both players with nice work there.
Absolutely. Even defensively here, the containment in the lane and then the step through.
In the lineup just about as often as he could be for the Lakers. Played a high number of games. Inside off the inbound, it's good for Cole Exers to distribute. 7 assists for the G League MVP. White to a wide open Edwards. Omat missed it that time. And
They love that corner jack three.
into Davis against Gabriel. The shifty maneuvering in the deuce.
Shots. Automatic switching.
Well, that's the other thing with this lineup, a little bit more defensive versatility. Maluaj, the future Blue Devil.
Nice give.
Tatum, though, lost it on the crossover attempt. Another U.S. turnover, and leads to a Shea triple today. No Kevin Durant yet. Holiday on Jones, looking for the deuce, and somehow got his own miss against James. Shea looking for another triple. NBA level has knocked down 5 of 8 and has 20 points today.
Look how they're jamming it up, letting it force it a deep shot, taking it.
Oh man, Shea a heat check 3, rebounded eventually by Embiid, who stumbles to get it to Booker. And Devin Booker trying to get going, running into 2 defenders.
Nice call. Holiday alert on the cut, but great vision. A big fella.
Second dime for LeBron James. Lead back down to 6. It is 4, drawing the contact on Embiid and 1. It's James with Majuk Deng guarding. Curry moving away from the ball to get the 3. Jackson Poole working against Holiday, who knocked it free and saved it to James. What a play by Drew Holiday. James with the jam and a foul. A flex from LeBron James to try to reignite the United States.
To get back in it, it's got to be on the D. A terrific play right here. Just look at this strength. The quickness. 39. My goodness, Jack Benny would envy him.
And Drew Holiday reinserted into the starting lineup, trying to make the impact at the end of the floor where he has been looking for Curry. Flip back to James. Got in the air, found Holiday behind the back, fires the jumper and connects.
Find the people.
Shayok, another heat check 3. The U.S. on its longest run of the game. They've scored the last 8. Looking for more. It's Booker! He ties the game at 76 on an 11-0 United States run. Leds in 16-15 at the 3:46 mark of the opening quarter. Shayok got his hands on it. Curry runs it down. A very deep Curry 3! Wow! For the United States lead.
Early dagger.
That ignites the crowd in London. It is Shayok to answer. After his 5 threes, he's now missed 3 in a row.
Boy, they have showed some character, though. This club, USA, look at this shot. Getting them organized, he knew. The bench getting a bang out of it, and why not?
Not many have the range. It's LeBron. Off to Embiid. Got it back and scored it to beat the buzzer. And the United States, after a 44-point first half, puts up 37 in the third to regain the advantage against the very impressive young South Sudanese group.
The D brings a smile to the face, but the ability to finish a different spirit. Showed big, recovered.
Had to switch on multiple players. Now he goes right down against the smaller Jones. Rebound to Carly Jones, who has 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 9 points. Jock, a triple try, his second of the night. As much as we praised South Sudan in the first half, Carly Jones should be a name all of you remember. Embiid knocks it down. Now Jones against Holiday, using that screen from Gabriel.
This is where you got to stay at home.
Embiid against the guard Jones, tries to work off the dribble. Put back is into Wenyan Gabriel. Scores a point. That is going to be a historic triple-double for Carly Jones in South Sudan.
He may get a spot in the league the way he's playing.
It is Gabriel for 3, and the league is open in London. Most experienced NBA player for South Sudan. And his former teammate with the Lakers, LeBron James. That's short. Booker the rebound. Bull trying to stand up. Bull trying to stand up LeBron James. James taking on the challenge. On the drive for South Sudan. And looking for it here. There it is, a triple-double. Of the final score, and it may get a little bit ballooned. This is a very impressive showing for South Sudan, regardless of the result. It's Peter Jock knocking down his 3rd field goal.
Sack and release.
It is Jones bodying his way to the rim against Anthony Edwards. 13, 10, and 10 for Carly Jones, who's working on Derek White here.
How about the hesitation pick in the early offense?
It's Tatum. On the drive, switching the hand to the left. You were right, it was Maluach, his 4th foul for South Sudan. Off the inbound, it's Tatum from his Celtic team. 3 minutes left in a 5-point United States lead.
Bam's really handled the ball well. Nice cut. Go unselfish. Go unselfish.
Bam, White, Davis. Everybody touching it for a chance at three.
That was pretty. Bam has been solid.
Agreed.
Handling basketball, making good decisions. We know we can do defensively, but there's that extra look. Boy, White.
Edwards drives it, kicks it. Curry corrals it against Carlik Jones. Edwards to apply White into the body of Wenyen Gabriel.
Good D.
Shayok in transition, his sixth. There has been some talk that this could be arguably, and I know the Dream Team is still the gold standard, but could be arguably the best roster put together in United States men's basketball history. But you could say the same for a lot of countries around the world. Curry misfires. This is a 4-point game with 70 seconds left.
And that's a great look for him, too.
Jones against LeBron James. Can't connect. Tipped alive. Shayok. This time he drives it. Finds Jones.
Nice
Extra feed. JT Thor, a big three. Won't go. Shayok the offensive rebound. He'll float it up and knock it down. It's a 2-point game.
Boy, they are not going away.
The spirited South Sudanese looking for still what would have been the biggest win in their very short program's history. Looking for a defensive stop. It's Curry. Davis. White. On the drive. Long for Davis. He couldn't finish the dunk. Loose ball to Thor. 2 to tie, 3 for the lead. Who wants to be a hero? It's Thor for the lead!
How about this team?
The current Charlotte Hornet, JT Thor, hits the three, and South Sudan with the lead.
Well, it got them in control early. The early offense, the ability to spot up, acknowledge with a good pass, and Thor doing the damage. How about that? This team hustle, don't give up on plays. Wow.
Shayok the big bucket.
Shayok there, yeah.
And how about Thor, the hammer three?
And a challenge, too.
With LeBron closing in. Here is LeBron James. Thor will pick him up.
Cole all over Steph.
LeBron drives for the lead. He puts it in. With 8 seconds remaining, South Sudan has a timeout to use, and they will use it as LeBron James, with 23 points, has put the U.S. back on top.
No set play, just give it to the big guy. Going left, not his dominant hand, but the ability to carve out space, the strength to get by, that is extraordinary. Big thing now is dribble drive at the other end. How are you going to defend, particularly Jones with the dribble? Well, that is impressive.
It'll be Shayok to inbound, White defending it. Jones trying to get free. Into Carlik Jones. 6 seconds left. Carlik Jones on the drive for the lead. The dunk try by Gabriel. A second attempt, no. Davis comes out with it, and that is it. The United States holds on for a win, and South Sudan mere moments away from what would have been the biggest win in their country's history, perhaps in any sporting event. The United States holds on for a 1-point victory.